Designing tools for PBL. As discussed in the previous section, an inquiry-based project begins with some relevant questions raised by the learners who are actively engaged in a project. In this process, stages like gathering information and project methods help the learners to find answers to those questions. Learners incorporate some of the tools to collect information in a structured way. The selection and design of the tools depend upon the nature and purpose of the project undertaken. Here is a list of some of the commonly used tools to help collect information from various stakeholders concerned with a project. Assessment and evaluation in PBL. In project-based pedagogy, evaluation has a crucial role in assessing the quality of a project. It helps evaluate learners' performance and the outcome in the form of a project assigned. Since projects begin with assumptions and propose a possible solution to a specific problem, getting a fixed solution is unnecessary. Therefore, it is a difficult task to evaluate a project. Moreover, projects are usually interdisciplinary and evaluation becomes more challenging because of the inclusion of multiple aspects. In PBL, although the end product is essential learning that happens throughout the process in meaningful ways. In PBL, although the end product is essential, learning happens throughout the process in meaningful ways. Therefore, evaluating a project in ESL context is a two-way process, content-based and skill-based. The content-based evaluation is done for the outcome, that is, the project as a document. It mainly focuses on the relevance, purpose, content acquisition, organization, structure, use of language, vocabulary, style, and mechanics of writing while evaluating a project. It is either done by an individual or a group, whereas skill-based evaluation emphasizes language skills, LSRW, used throughout the process, including other skills such as critical thinking, problem solving, teamwork and collaboration, decision making, and other life skills. Methods of evaluation. It is clear from the previous section that evaluation is a two-way process in PBL. Multiple methods are incorporated to assess and evaluate learners' performance. Some of the ways are discussed here. 1. Self-evaluation. In the self-evaluation process, learners are given the responsibility to assess and evaluate their own language skills and the progress of the project work. They apply their critical thinking and reflective skills to identify their strengths, weaknesses, and errors. They get an opportunity to analyze these factors and take necessary action towards progress. 2. Peer evaluation. Sometimes self-evaluation may not successfully identify strengths, weaknesses, and errors. Peer evaluation as a complementary to self-evaluation and teacher evaluation contributes to identifying these factors and providing necessary feedback and suggestion through observation, interaction, and discussion. Moreover, peer evaluation helps the learners develop in the right direction with the scaffolding needed. 3. Teacher evaluation. Even after incorporating self-evaluation and peer evaluation, some crucial aspects remain unattended that may affect the performance of the learners and the quality of the end product. Teacher evaluation aims to complete the process of evaluation that goes beyond the learner's potential. Teachers' minute observation of learners' progress enables them to work on various aspects at both process and product levels. 4. Formative evaluation. The nature of PBL is process-based. So, evaluation is done at frequent intervals. The formative assessment provides learners with timely inputs, feedback, guidance, and suggestions to focus on the common goal. It gives them scope for the rectification of errors and to do further planning. So, evaluation is done at frequent intervals. The formative assessment provides learners with timely inputs, feedback, guidance, and suggestions to focus on the common goal. It gives them scope for the rectification of errors and to do further planning. 5. Summative evaluation. It is challenging to evaluate learners' performance when actively involved in group work. Therefore, the summative evaluation method is implemented to assess learners' performance at the end of the project work. This method may adopt the grading process and assist them with overall feedback and suggestions that can be incorporated into future projects. Assessing group and individual performance. In the PBL context, learners primarily work in collaboration with their peers. However, the success of project-based learning is twofold: group performance and individual performance. Although a project is considered successful when the purpose or goal is achieved, the implicit focus is on the development of the English language skills of an individual learner. In this regard, teachers tend to develop specific criteria on which groups and individuals can be accurately evaluated. To evaluate the performance, the teachers can devise a rubric that includes some of the following criteria. Group performance. 1. Group's common goal. 2. Group's dynamics. 3. Teamwork skills. 4. Participation of the group members. 5. Peer interaction. 6. Time management. 7. Group's learning outcomes. And 8. Project completion. For individual performance, the following can be used. 1. Communication skills. LSRW. Listening, speaking, reading, writing. 2. Writing skills for producing the project document. 3. Awareness of the common goal. 4. Accountability towards the work assigned. 5. Participation in activities. 6. Interaction with others. 7. Problem-solving skills. 8. Decision-making skills. 9. Presentation skills. 10. Time management. Assessing skill-wise language performance. The primary objective of incorporating PBL in the English classroom is to develop learners' English language skills. PBL creates a conducive learning environment where learners use and get adequate practice of all the language skills and other linguistic aspects while actively engaged with peers for a specific project goal. As discussed in the previous sections, learners' language performance can be assessed through several methods. These methods include some essential criteria based on specific engaging rubrics to evaluate learners' development in a particular skill. These rubrics are considered assessment tools constructed to correspond closely to real-life contexts. They also comprise the rating scale, evaluation criteria, and descriptors. The following table aims to include skills and aspect-wise rubrics in this regard. Skill or the aspect of language could be listening, for which the rubric could involve active listening, comprehension, following instructions, listening to others, demonstration, receiving oral feedback. For the skill or aspect of language of speaking, the rubric could involve language, fluency, tone, pronunciation, interaction, discussion, explanation, providing oral feedback, giving illustrations and examples, conversation strategies, giving response, turn-taking, cultural appropriateness. For the skill or aspect of language of reading, the rubric could involve comprehension, skimming, scanning, inferring meaning, analyzing the information, interpretation, reading diagrams. For the skill of writing, the rubric could involve gathering information, content coverage, organization, appropriateness of language use, structure, style, cohesion and coherence, revision, editing, and proofreading skill, incorporating feedback. For the skill of grammar, the rubric could involve correctness of sentences, sentence structure, sentence forms, discourse markers, grammatical aspects. And for the skill of vocabulary or the aspect of vocabulary, range of vocabulary could be a rubric. Context-specific vocabulary can be a rubric criteria, or appropriateness can be a rubric criterion. In brief, rubrics make the process of assessment more objective and consistent. They make learners aware of the criteria for assessment, and they set standard measures to motivate learners to reach the expected level. Tools for assessment. There are multiple ways to assess learners' performance in language skills in the PBL context. Unlike traditional classroom evaluation, which included structured tests, PBL incorporates various modes of assessment. Here are some of the modes to assess learners' language performance. 1. Anecdotal or experiential, spoken and written. 2. Records. 3. Reports. 4. Reflective diary, self and peer diaries. 5. Situation-based performance. 6. Experiment report. 7. Interview. 8. Skill-based tests. You can think of an activity such as a project to develop students' expository paragraph writing skills and develop the assessment plan. Prepare rubrics to evaluate the project.